by way of explanation, Scavenger's daughter is the name of a torture device used during Henry VIII's reign, and it's sort of like the opposite of the rack because it puts you in this like position like this and kind of works to break your spine. It's really lovely. And the story is set not during Henry VIII's time, but actually during the filming of a reality TV show, which is being filmed in like a Costa Rican town, and is the main character is Casey. She doesn't want to be there. And the reality TV show is sort of described, it's called The Scavenger, Bloodlust, and it's described as kind of like a Survivor ripoff that is like for a younger MTV demographic, with a bit of non-historically accurate, like high fantasy thrown in for the Game of Thrones crowd. So that's that. It's not as if the Druid elders were deciding whether Casey would live or die. It's not as if the Druid elders were, in fact, Druid elders. The large men in black capes who had led Casey to the darkened Hill of Judgment were actors, or had been. Somewhere along the line, they must have recognized that their faces lacked some star quality and banked on their bodies instead. They'd hired trainers. They'd started buying impossibly large jugs of whey protein. They'd landed bit parts in USA and TBS programs, action-adventure programs with titles like Gorgon Warrior No. 3, Tesseract Pavilion Guard, Minotaur. But somewhere along the line, the roles had stopped coming. They weren't even in England. The weather there was deemed too iffy for a show with so many outdoor challenges. And so a runic-looking horse had been chalked into the side of the highest hill of their nondescript Central American town with the same kind of machine that, that is used to draw lines on a baseball field. You couldn't see much in the darkness, but everything on the Hill of Judgment was made, the dais, the pillars, the platform where the decider stood, was all made out of that same uncanny plastic that can be polymered into faux anything, like those the stony Skeletor castle that her brother Max had when they were kids, or the cold, smooth walls of a Disneyland ride, or the Sphinxes and lions inside a Vegas hotel. She tried to look above all of that plastic to the almost full moon that was glinting on the water on the other side of the jungle. She closed her eyes and imagined maybe even staying here after taping ended, rather than cling to this career that was never going to happen. That's what people did, right? You know why you stand here before us on the Hill of Judgment, said the man in black robes with the long Gandalf beard. He had once been the spokesperson for a national cell phone provider. You failed to master the element of water in yesterday's challenge. Yesterday's challenge had been surfing, which was a sport that was apparently wildly popular among alchemists in the 16th century. Without water, there can be no life, said the wizard of daytime minutes. Then Casey heard another voice. Throw it away. Dawn, the one who had been cast as the bitch and had not disappointed. Of all of them, she was the most likely to get a spin-off show. Throw it away was Dawn's catchphrase. The words had originally been spoken in regard to some food that Dawn believed should be thrown away. But now she used it for many purposes, as a punchline, a compliment, a threat. Casey supposed that catchphrase cultivation was one route to spin-offs and wondered why her agent had never told her. Did real people have catchphrases too, and she just never noticed? Casey wondered if she should give up playing the good girl and just go rogue. The producers would love it, she was sure of that. And yet, it was this one thing that she couldn't do. Even though she knew she was as far from the good girl as the rest of them, she couldn't let the rest of the world think that she was anything but. So she closed her eyes as her punishment was decreed by the man who'd once scaled mountaintops to demonstrate that not only could he be heard now, he could always be heard. Never again would he not be heard. Take her to the Scavenger's